The views and opinions expressed on Wrestling Winedown are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any other agency, organization, employer, or company. What's up, guys? It's Lo, and welcome to Wrestling Winedown, a female-founded and hosted podcast dedicated to professional wrestling and our favorite adult beverage. On this week's episode, I am so excited to be joined by Jess. She's a content creator based out of the United Kingdom. We will be spilling all of the wine from the 2020 WWE Draft, including which superstars moved brands, and of course, our newest segment, Sip and Tell. Which WWE superstar might be returning to the company sometime soon? We have all the details. So grab your glass of wine. We're going in for the 3 count. Jess, I hope you're ready to sip some wine and talk some wrestling.
I am indeed. Thank you for having me.
Let's start with, how did your passion for professional wrestling begin?
I was 7 years of age. I used to kind of live like in an area with a lot of like boys. So I've always been quite a tomboy. So like back in the day when obviously I was quite a bit younger, they watched it all the time. So because I hang around with them and I used to see them every day, I started watching it, and then it kind of just went from there, and I haven't stopped. I had a little bit of a break when I was trying to be cool when I was like 15, 16, you know, when you're trying to be in that cool time, you know, that time. Other than that, I've been watching it the whole time since I was little. And yeah, it's just kind of taken over my life now.
Who are some of your favorite superstars growing up?
Obviously, John Cena, like I showed you my pillow, is just the love of my life. Honestly, I say it so often. Who else? Obviously The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Triple H. Then obviously with the ladies, you've got Victoria's, like one of my all-time favourites ever.
Same.
Candice Michelle, obviously Tori Wilson as well, and cut all that. Honestly, when I was younger, the excitement I used to get with like Rey Mysterio as well, like you saw with my picture up there, and I do miss it a little bit. I do miss the old days when the excitement used to be there.
Do you feel like there's a difference now with what WWE is bringing forward on their roster? Like, are you still excited to watch, or is it like a different kind of excitement?
I think now it's a bit harder. Like, you get excited, but I feel like quite obviously it's a bit hard without the fans at the minute.
Right.
But for a little while, I think the atmosphere, like you watch how it used to be, like old videos when I was obviously around that age, and even like a couple of years ago, the atmosphere now compared to them is quite different. You don't see as much, you know, like I like all the like the fan signs and the audience and all that kind of thing. I love all that. Right. And you don't get all of that anymore. There's obviously excitement because, you know, these people are your favourite superstars, you know, this is what we love, you know, but I do think the atmosphere isn't the same.
You've hosted your own podcast before, and you currently serve as a content creator for PW Unlimited, and you have your own YouTube channel. How have these experiences treated you?
Do you know what? Not bad. Hard work. Very hard work. Like you'd notice, it's a lot of hard work. You're going week in, week out, and you have to kind of, you know, even when wrestling isn't at its best, may I say, it is hard to keep motivation. I was speaking to someone the other day and trying to get all these ideas and be as creative as you can, and you start making something and then everything changes. Each week wrestling becomes different.
Right. Yeah.
So you have to keep up. It's hard work, and people just say, oh, you're just in front of a camera, you're just talking. It's a lot of work.
What has kept you motivated as a female podcaster and YouTuber to continue moving forward in a male-dominated sport?
If I'm honest, the reason why I started it all is because none of my family and friends would listen. I wanted to talk to someone about it. Someone's going to need to listen to what I've got to say. And I think, like you know as well, there are so many males in this industry, so many. And I think sometimes, in the nicest way, they don't really like listen to our opinions on like wrestling. I think there are some times where I get quite a bit of hate. Some obviously in my videos I do get hate because they don't like me voicing my opinion, but it's something I enjoy. It's something I'm passionate about. It's something that excites me and keeps me kind of going. That's my, you know, step out from reality kind of thing. That's my world. I just keep going with it. Even though I might get hate and I might get people not liking my opinions, I'm still going to keep going.
Good. That's what you should do. You showed me before we started recording your whole wall of superstars that you've met. Who has been your favorite superstar to meet and why?
I think probably Ric Flair. He was so lovely. Like I went in, I was so nervous about meeting him, and obviously I'm like a huge Charlotte fan, like huge fan of Charlotte. I love her so much, and obviously Ric Flair, he's incredible. And I went in and I was so nervous, and I think he could tell I was nervous as well. And I walked in and we had our picture done, and like I've seen like other pictures of him and people before, and Al's was so nice and so cute. And he turned around to the photographer and he turned around and he said, "Oh, do we look cute together?" with his wife standing there. I was like, oh, and like obviously I joked and turned around and went, "Oh, look, I'm going to be Charlotte's new stepmom." Obviously, I don't think they really liked it. He found it really funny. He thought it was hilarious. Not sure if Wendy did. Not gonna lie. But he was so sweet. I loved him anyway. But I think and Victoria was lovely, as obviously I met like one of my idols. Like I nearly cried, and I just had my eyelashes done because I was about to go on holiday a day after. And I walked in and I was just like shaking and I was in bits, and she complimented my eyelashes.
That's how you know it's real.
I was so happy. I've just had these done. I even told her, I was like, I'm going on holiday tomorrow. But she was lovely.
Let's get into the WWE Draft. It happened over the past week, and this draft was interesting to me because they kept superstars on the same brand, and they showed that on television. Superstars, staying on Raw or staying on SmackDown, but they also showed the superstars who obviously were drafted to another roster. We know a lot of superstars, including Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, R-Truth, stayed on the Raw roster, but there's a lot of new people on the Raw roster. We have Jeff Hardy, who's on the Raw roster now, Elias, Sheamus, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, and Charlotte Flair, who hasn't been active as of late, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Lacey Evans, Nikki Cross. And we got some tag teams, which a lot of people were hurt about. The New Day, which consists of Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, are now on Monday Night Raw without Big E. The Miz and John Morrison also moved over to Raw, as well as Lucha House Party. How are you feeling about the end of the New Day? It's the end of an era, in my opinion. They've been together for 6 years now. They've sold a lot of merch. They've made a lot of memories together. And now they're not together anymore.
See, I've got some real mixed opinions on this. So obviously for a while they've kind of teased that Big E was going to, there's a lot of rumours, wasn't there, that there was kind of going to be Big E's going to go his own way. I love the New Day. I love every single member of the New Day. Like, I'm hurt that they've split up. It is sad because they have such beautiful chemistry and they have such incredible personalities, like all of them three together, and they've given us good matches and really good memories. I'm excited for Big E actually. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing where he kind of goes with it, because I think obviously Kofi had his time when he did his own thing for a little while. Now it's kind of Big E's turn. I am a little bit interested to see what they kind of do with his character. Are they going to kind of change him? Are they going to keep him as the same kind of outfits? Are they going to completely change his song? Like, what's going to happen? But obviously, when we saw with Kofi before, he kept the New Day song. So are they going to completely change it? I don't know. I've got mixed opinions on it. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens because Big E is brilliant, and he could really make it on his own, I think.
I was reading earlier this week on the Wrestling Observer newsletter, which take it as you will, but it's reported that Big E will undergo a character change and ditch his New Day gimmick, and I don't really know how to feel about that. Just like you mentioned, when Kofi had his run, he still kept that gimmick and he remained a strong member of the New Day, but he did have a singles run. And even though the New Day are on two different rosters, I feel like Big E could still thrive and shine as a singles competitor while keeping that character that the fans have known and loved. It's been rumored for a while now that, Big E's going to change character. He needs to change character to be taken seriously. Every time I see it or every time I hear it, I kind of side-eye it. Like, why is there such a want or need from some people, not everyone, because the fans love the New Day and they love the character that they bring to the table, but it seems like a lot of insiders, quote unquote, are so persistent on having these men change their characters once they go into a singles run.
I'm interested to see what's going to kind of happen. Is that it for them forever? I imagine that'd be so sad. But then, we thought that about The Miz and John Morrison.
Right.
And look what happened there. So there is hope. He might have like a championship run, and then he might reunite. I couldn't see Xavier Woods doing something on his own without sounding rude or anything, but I couldn't imagine him doing something on his own.
You know, he hasn't really had a singles moment in WWE so far. He's always been in a tag team. And, you know, WWE broke up a lot of their tag teams in this draft. Tucker and Otis are not together anymore. It's weird. Like, you are trying to build up your tag division, and we saw the whole trade of the tag belts between the Street Profits and the New Day. Obviously, they went to 2 different rosters, so they had to trade the belts. But who are we going to have compete with these championships now that we're breaking up these tag teams? That was a main thought that went through my head during this draft. Look at Angel Garza. He was in that tag team with Andrade for a significant amount of time this year. Yeah, they've had their issues, but they were still a tag team, and they're not together anymore. Andrade has not been drafted. He is still a free agent, but Angel Garza's on Raw. Where does this leave the tag division, the men's tag division in WWE? I mean, the women's tag division is a whole different story. It's been a different story, and it definitely needs work. But why do you think they're breaking up the tag teams?
I don't know. I think what they've done with Heavy Machinery is stupid, quite frankly. As much as obviously Otis, you know, Money in the Bank situation, I love Heavy Machinery together. They work so well, and they're, you know, so good together. And I just don't feel like they're strong enough singly. They're really not. And without sounding rude, Tucker especially, he's not the strongest competitor, bless him, on his own. And together they make a nice team. I was looking, and they've only got one tag team on SmackDown now.
Right.
One tag team. And I was, well, who are they going to fight against? They can't fight against imaginary people, you know? So they can't. But, you know, I feel like they do have some really good tag teams, really good, but I just don't know why they don't really push the tag teams that they've got. Like Miz and Morrison, what they could do with them two, like, would be insane. And I just think even like the Lucha House Party, they're fantastic in the ring. Like, they're maybe not so much character-wise, like, compared to like the New Day, where they're big characters, and John, you know, like Miz and John Morrison, they're big characters. Lucha House Party, they could do something really, really good.
Let's move over to SmackDown. A lot of superstars stayed on the SmackDown roster, but they got a lot of draft picks. Seth Rollins moved over to SmackDown, as well as Rey Mysterio and Dominik Mysterio, which I thought this would end already. And Murphy joined them as well. But a lot of people have really wanted this storyline between Seth Rollins and Murphy and then the Mysterios to end. But I guess, you know, the more the merrier. Let's just push them on SmackDown and see what happens. It is interesting, though. Rey and Dominik were drafted as a tag team. They were not drafted as a singles competitor. So I'm almost wondering if they're going to start pushing this as like a father-son tag team instead of Dominik Mysterio being his own singles competitor.
Do you know what? I said in my video, I actually quite like it.
Really?
Rey and Dominik, yeah. Do you know what? I've spoken to so many people about Dominik, and people don't like him. People really don't like him. I love him. Like, I'm such a fan. I think it's a bit biased because it's Rey Mysterio's son, but I really, really like it.
Like, what complaints do people have?
People have just said that they don't feel like he deserves the push, and they don't like him as a character. I think he's great. I really, really liked him from day dot, and I was really excited. Like, obviously, I knew he was going to get that push, and I just think Rey Mysterio, like, obviously, I love him so much, and he deserves the world. Like, he deserves everything. So if he's going to be a tag team champion, I'm going to be well behind it. Like, I am supporting him, and I'm rooting for him. And him and Dominik, that'd be amazing. Absolutely insane. But obviously, like you said, with Seth moving over to SmackDown, I was enjoying his Monday Night Messiah. I was loving it. So I'm not really sure what they're kind of doing with that now.
Well, you know, I think Seth Rollins is probably going to be taking some time off soon. We know that his fiance, Becky Lynch, is still expecting. I think that's probably why they moved him over here. You know, maybe they're about to phase out this storyline, this very long storyline that has gone on with Rey Mysterio and Dominik Mysterio, to kind of push him to the side, and fans won't be like, oh, where did he go? I think they're trying to push him off in a subtle way. So once it's time for him to go on that leave when Becky has the baby, it's not like, oh my gosh, Seth Rollins is gone. Where did he go? So I hope that's what they're doing here.
I really want Buddy Murphy to be on his own. Like, fully on his own. And I think he's someone that I really have a lot of respect for. And obviously the whole thing at the minute, what he's been at with Rey Mysterio's daughter, is a little bit odd.
That's very weird.
But he's been on the back foot for so long. and he's talented.
He really is.
He's got everything. Like, he's someone that they should really push. Like, really, really, if they could push him, he'd be an absolute star. Like, he really would be. He's gorgeous. I'm just going to put, he's absolutely beautiful. He is brilliant in the ring, and he's got everything. He's one person they need to push big time.
Let's talk about someone that they don't need to push. So Lars Sullivan was drafted. Was he on SmackDown? I don't know if he was on SmackDown. I don't know if he was on Raw. I was on the Rest Friends video this week on their YouTube video, and we discussed Lars Sullivan in depth. And I feel like we need to discuss it here. Lars Sullivan was drafted before a lot of superstars who have been busting their ass for months now. Now, he was injured, I will say that. And he was out for a period of time, and he was injured when they let all of those superstars go in March. And a lot of people were saying, well, why didn't they just add Lars to the list? And I did not expect him to come back in this capacity and get the push that he's getting. He has been extremely disgusting before his time in the WWE, and currently, I don't know if you've read the rumors, but he's been back 2 weeks and he's already sliding in DMs like there's no tomorrow. It's ridiculous. And I was also reading that there's probably no end to this push anytime soon, because he has one fan in particular who makes the final call, and I'm thinking it's Vince McMahon. So I don't see this Lars Sullivan push, unfortunately, ending anytime soon. I hope it does, but...
Oh, I can't stand him. I cannot stand that man. I think he's just vile, quite frankly. And I think the whole, wrestling community on Twitter went mental. They were like, what are you doing? Like, you released some good people, really good people. Why have you still got Lars Sullivan? What on earth? Without sounding rude to the guy, what does he bring? Nothing. He brings drama and disgustingness, quite frankly. He doesn't bring character. He doesn't bring amazing in-ring ability. He isn't going to bring a great storyline. Just, he's big, really, if I'm honest. It's not much.
No, and I agree. I think that's why Vince McMahon really likes him, or whoever is his fan backstage, is because he has that big guy mentality that WWE tends to love to push. He's bigger, he's capable in the ring. He's not bad in the ring, he's a bigger guy. But you think about what he's doing backstage and what he's doing on his free time, and it's disgusting. Like, you can't separate the character from what he's doing online, because eventually it's going to cross paths. It was interesting to me that he won against Jeff Hardy this week, and now Jeff Hardy's on Raw. It's like, why are you having this man continually defeat or beat up these superstars that have made names for themselves in the WWE? What is the end product here? Like, where are we pushing this guy to? I don't know if you watch SmackDown, but they refer to him as the Freak at least 20 plus times. WWE, I feel like, is trying too hard with him to get fans to like him. Just chill out, read the room.
Just give up. Just stop. Nobody wants. This is what I mean. I just think, do they I've thought about this so many times with so many things. Do they not look at Twitter? Do they not look what people say and how people react to all different things? Do they just skim past it? It's sad. Nobody, and like they say about the big guy, pushing the big guy. There are other big guys that can push. Let them push. The least disgusting ones, the ones that have worked their butts off to be there, not that have been vile.
Let's talk about the women that were drafted to SmackDown. Bayley is still on SmackDown, as well as Sasha, Carmella, and Tamina, but we gained some superstars in Bianca Belair, Natalya, Billie Kay, and Zelina Vega. SmackDown at one point during the draft had 3 female superstars. They had Bayley, Sasha, and Bianca, and everyone online was like, what the hell? Like, did they forget about the SmackDown women's roster? What was going on? Finally, they drafted these last 5, which I think are good picks. I think Natalya coming over as well as Billie Kay are some really good choices, because Billie Kay and Natalya have been involved in women's tag teams lately. So moving them over to a separate brand from the person that they were tagging with might strengthen their character as a singles competitor. Natalya has been in the WWE for so long, and I almost feel like she hasn't been given the respect that she deserves. She's held women's championships before, but she's never had that strong moment. She's always been like the woman who's calling someone else a bitch on the roster, or being pushed into a tag team that makes no sense. And Billie Kay, a lot of people thought that she would be done in the WWE after her and Peyton split up, because they wanted to push Peyton as a single superstar and they had no plans for Billie. What are your thoughts on the SmackDown women's roster after this draft?
Natalya has always been one of my favourites, always has been. I have so much respect for her, and I think she doesn't even with maybe some of the fans as well, she doesn't get the respect she deserves. She trains a lot of these women. She trains a lot of these superstars, and she works her butt off, that lady. She really does. She doesn't get what she deserves, and I've always said this. I think I've always said she deserves more of a championship run, or just even the respect.
Even look at Tamina and the undrafted Mickie James, who these women have been on this roster for 10 plus years. Even Naomi, who was drafted to Raw, they've really built the fan connection, all of them. But they haven't been given the respect that they deserve. Tamina, everyone is always talking about how she's injury prone and stuff like that. But I don't know if you watched the 24 special with Jey Uso, and she was involved there. And it just shows, like, even though you're not on TV every week or people are talking online saying you're injury prone, you can still have a place on the roster. And I was glad that they incorporated her in that 24, and hopefully they do involve her in this storyline with Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. Mickie James, it's honestly disrespectful what they're doing to her. I cannot believe that a multiple-time WWE Women's Champion went undrafted.
Mickie James is like in my top 10 favourite humans ever. The ladies I was saying earlier, like she's someone I used to grow up watching. And
right, me too.
The excitement from people when she was coming back, like I said with the whole social media thing, did they not look? Did they not see the excitement that that she got? I was, oh my God, I was so excited. I was like, oh, Mickie James come back, Mickie James come back. She could do everything. Like, she could challenge these superstars. She could really go for it. And just gets treated like that. And you just think, what does it have to take for these ladies to be noticed? Like Tamina, I'm such a big Tamina fan. I think she's brilliant. Like, I hate the ones that get treated like fillers. There's a lot of them that get treated just like fillers. Like, it's amazing that, like Bailey, Sasha and Charlotte and obviously Becky, get this opportunities and stuff. There's some ladies that are really, really underrated on both of these rosters. And it winds me up so much. And, they don't get like treated with the respect they really do deserve. And it honestly, it winds me up so much. I hope that the change, because Natalya's been on Raw for quite a long time as well, so I'm kind of hoping it will kind of mix up a little bit for her. Like, she hasn't kind of been with a lot of these new ladies for a while, really. Right. She hasn't. And yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed they split her and Lana up, because I was quite liking her and Lana together. I thought it was quite cute. So I am kind of hoping that, it's really going to mix it up. And obviously I want the best for Bianca. I love her so much. And Naomi as well. She's the most underrated woman on that roster. Honestly, I argue every time about it. And I hope they open their eyes and start giving these girls these opportunities, because they're missing something.
I am very glad that they moved Bianca to SmackDown, and we've seen the promos over the last couple weeks showing off her abilities, whether it's inside or outside the ring. I feel like she could go up against Bayley at any time. Bianca is someone that when she came into the WWE and she was on NXT, she had that star power. A lot of people who do come to NXT, they have to build themselves up. And I feel like ever since she appeared on TV, she had the same character. She's only grown as a competitor and as a professional. Her on Raw, we expected big things. Her being moved up was such an iconic move. And she didn't get that moment that she deserved. She was on main event, and it pissed me off as a Bianca fan, because we saw she was treated in NXT. She never got that NXT Women's Championship that she rightfully deserved. And then her coming up to Raw and being on main event, it really rubbed me the wrong way. But I'm hoping now with these promos that they're presenting to the fans weekly and having her on a different brand, that she's able to show off why she is the EST of WWE.
We saw her in the Royal Rumble. The performance that she brought to the Royal Rumble, was unreal. I was her fan, but that made me just fall in love even more. And I just thought, come on, you are not seeing this. This woman is bionic. She's so cool as well. And she's someone that's got everything. It's not like she's just good in the ring. She's got the whole just superstar.
We also know that the Street Profits got moved over to SmackDown, and they're still champs. And they have some good competitors on this brand. So Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro are still on SmackDown. We have Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, who are trying trying it again as a tag team. How are you feeling about the men's tag team division on SmackDown?
It's okay. I'd say it's okay. Obviously, we've got, Cesaro and Shinsuke as well. And to me, they are singles competitors, if I'm honest. These tag teams that are on there now are more throw-togethers, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which I don't, discriminate against these people that get thrown together.
Right.
Like,
there have been some really good tag teams that have just been thrown together. Right.
If they get thrown together and they've got that chemistry and they've got that bond and they've got it all, beautiful. Like, please. But they haven't really. I don't know. I love the Street Profits. I hope they stay champions for a while because I love them. I think they're brilliant. Too. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure what they're gonna go with on there now.
Let's spotlight the people that were not drafted. We kind of talked about it earlier. So Andrade and Mickie James were in the pools to be drafted, but they were not selected. And then you have the people that were not even in the draft pools. We have Becky Lynch, who obviously probably would have not been in the draft pool because she's pregnant. Jimmy Uso, Ivar, Sonya Deville, Edge, Jinder Mahal, Samoa Joe, Mojo Rawley, The Forgotten Sons, Bo Dallas, Big Show. These are some question marks for me. I don't know why CBS Sports included these in their wrap-up, but Big Show, John Cena, Goldberg, Ronda Rousey, and The Undertaker. They were not in the draft pools. There are some superstars on here who are injured. We know Jimmy Uso, Ivar, Edge. I think Jinder Mahal is injured. We know Samoa Joe is currently on commentary. Sonya Deville took a step away from the WWE for a while to deal with personal stuff. And then the Forgotten Sons are obviously forgotten. And Bo Dallas, we haven't really heard from Bo Dallas in a really long time. And we know his former tag team partner was released in March. So he really hasn't been doing much lately. But these last people that have really been involved in the WWE, like John Cena, Goldberg, Ronda Rousey, and The Undertaker, leaves me with a question mark on, well, why would they even be included in the first place?
Well, obviously, there's someone on the list that I would be more than happy with making a full-on return. There, of course. Ronda Rousey, I would like her to come back,
We're going to chat about that, yeah.
She's someone I'd like to kind of see. The Undertaker, please no more. I'm sorry, I can't. I love him, and I have so many memories. And same with Goldberg. They're exhausted. Just let them just enjoy themselves. And the Big Show, bless his little heart, stick to Netflix now. It's just, did you watch his Netflix show?
I did not, no.
Oh, I loved it. If John Cena returns, look, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
NXT was not included in the draft this year, which surprised some people. WWE had tweeted out a couple weeks ago, who did you think was going to be drafted from the individual brands? And they listed Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. They pulled a quick tweet and delete and ended up tweeting it again with just Raw and SmackDown, which led people to believe that NXT would not be involved, and it was confirmed that they weren't. What were your thoughts on WWE not including them this year?
Really annoyed, actually. Do you know what? I said this a while ago. I really thought we were about to get the Undisputed Era on SmackDown and Raw. I thought it was coming. Just because of how things have kind of been going, like the last couple of months, I thought, oh my God, we might get them. And then they tweeted that. I was gutted. Absolutely. I really wanted them. Like, just, even a mix-up. There's a few people that I feel should be now, should kind of be on that main, call it the main roster. But they should be there now. I feel like it's quite a few people's time. There's a lot of people that have kind of maybe in the nicest way had their time on NXT in the nicest way. But I really thought they were going to be included, and I was gutted.
I am kind of in the middle on this. WWE has had a tendency to call up people from NXT and then leave them in catering and forget about them. And that's what I was really nervous about when I thought that NXT would be included in the draft this year. So that's one side of it. At the same time, we're lacking those moments that we really enjoyed, getting those superstars from NXT and seeing the excitement in their faces and the people in the background being excited for them. So that was definitely a moment that I missed from not seeing NXT in the draft. But ultimately, I think it's a smart decision if WWE is really focusing on not hoarding their talent anymore.
Mm.
Who do you think will shine on their new rosters? A lot of people changed brands. A lot of people stayed on the same brands. Is there anyone on either of these rosters that you feel like this is their time to shine now that they are on another roster?
Do you know, I'm really, really hoping at the minute, obviously with everything that's kind of been going on with Roman, I really hope Jey Uso really does just kill it, because he has been unreal.
Amazing.
Like, unreal. And I've always loved the Usos. I've always thought they're brilliant, but he's been incredible. And it's really opened my eyes for him as well. And I'm like, oh my God, like there's a lot more to him, if that makes sense. There's a lot more. And I just thought the way that him and Roman have carried this feud, and it's been insane. Obviously with Paul Heyman as well, helping everyone.
Right.
I love Paul Heyman. I think he's great. But Jey Uso is the man to watch, I think, at the minute. And I'm hoping Carmella. Yeah, I think she's actually quite underrated. Like she's done so much, and I just think like she's become a filler, and I hope that she kind of gets a little bit more of a chance. There's so many I feel like deserve a lot more, and will hopefully hopefully get the chance. Obviously with Big E as well.
Right. Obviously, I mentioned earlier, I think Bianca Belair, this is her time to shine. Naomi as well, she has been out for a couple months now, and MVP has teased that he might want her in the Hurt Business. And, I mean, this would be a great opportunity to see Naomi as a heel. We have not seen her as a heel in WWE for a really long time, and she has an amazing character already. And I feel like turning her heel won't make the fans be like, oh, we don't like her anymore. She has that character that anyone would be attracted to, and I feel like adding her to the Hurt Business as the woman in the group is something that I can stand behind.
I think if Naomi went and joined the Hurt Business, that would be so beautiful. Do you know what annoys me about the whole thing with her is that she's obviously someone I've always really, really been such a fan of, and the reaction she got at the Royal Rumble, that pop she got was so beautiful. Like, I've said this before, like, if Edge wasn't there that night, she would have got the biggest pop of the whole night.
I agree.
1000%. She is incredible. And I just think, how are they please take note of that, and please see, like, the writers, the Vince, please see that girl is loved. She got that reaction after not being there for a while. It was absolutely incredible. I got like goosebumps and everything, like even like just thinking of it.
We are taking a pause on this episode of Wrestling Winedown to remind you, Election Day is right around the corner. Have you figured out where you're going to vote yet? Or if you're mailing in your ballot, hit up ballotready.org to find your polling place. It's that easy. ballotready.org. Cheers. Let's move on to SmackDown. We saw Roman Reigns put his title on the line against Braun Strowman, and to be honest with you, the match was not what caught my attention. It was the ending of the match when we saw Jey Uso get involved and attack Roman Reigns with the chair. We know they've been involved in this storyline, and whoever is writing this storyline needs a raise and a bottle of wine. This storyline is why we love wrestling. We saw Jey saying, I love you. He was screaming, I love you, when he was hitting Roman with the chair. How do you feel about this storyline and the storytelling that WWE is bringing to the table with it? I love it. I don't want it to stop. Obviously, it's going to come to an end at some point. Hopefully, it's Roman versus The Rock.
I love it. I absolutely just love saying about Jey. I'm loving it at the minute. And I think, yeah, keep it going as long as possible, actually. It's something that, now Roman Reigns, it was a long period of time when Roman Reigns really did annoy me. I'm not going to lie. He annoyed me for a while because he was unfortunately overbooked. I feel like he's come back and he's better than ever. He has Paul Heyman by his side.
He has new teeth.
And I was looking at them last night, actually. They're looking spectacular. He looked incredible. The whole thing's incredible. And then you get this banging storyline and you just think, it could be better. It could not be better at the minute. And I'm fully rooting for it. I'm here for it. I'm happy for it to go along as long as possible at the minute. Maybe grab some few more people in there. Don't let the others in. Just a couple of people.
I'm excited to see them.
Bring Tamina in.
Exactly. I'm excited to see who else they bring into the storyline. We saw Jimmy was involved in their last match. Who else is going to get involved? We know The Rock is related to them. We know Tamina is related to them. There's a lot of people that can get involved here. And it excites me because they have such a strong wrestling lineage that can be displayed in this storyline.
There are. I reckon we could see The Rock. I reckon we would have a Rock reunion, even if it was just one time. Imagine that reaction. Imagine that reaction just once The Rock comes in, does his bit, leaves. That's it. They'd be very,
I really
very
think that the WWE would want that to happen in front of a crowd. I think that's why they might hold on to the storyline for a long time, because they want eventually a crowd to come and they want The Rock to be there. But the way things are looking, who knows if that will happen? We'll talk about that a little more. Let's get into our newest segment, Sip and Tell. The wine was spilled this week, and I'm actually shocked about this. So Paul Heyman hinted that Ronda Rousey may have signed a contract extension with the WWE. So we know that Ronda signed a multi-year contract back in 2018, and her deal is set to expire in 2021, April 2021 to be exact. New York Post was talking to Paul Heyman, and he dropped a hint, and a lot of people did not expect this from him. Here's what he said, quote unquote, "That's another funny thing about people who don't discuss their business in public forums. Everyone presumes that Ronda Rousey's contract expires at a certain time. I don't understand why people don't realize that perhaps, just perhaps, Ronda Rousey's contract has been extended, or she has worked out a new deal, and it would not benefit either WWE or Ronda Rousey to go public with that information. But why wouldn't people understand that it would be kept secret?" So I found this interesting because I've been on Twitter recently and I've seen Ronda Rousey training with wrestlers. Her and her husband have been training with different wrestlers. They've been posting pictures. They have a ring at their house. And we've seen that on Total Divas, that she does have, ring stuff at her house, but she's training. Do we think that she's going to come back for the Royal Rumble? Is she going to come back for WrestleMania? I saw a very, very, very outlandish rumor earlier this week saying that Vince McMahon wants to have Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch at the next WrestleMania, which, if y'all could see my face right now, it's outlandish. It is outlandish. Becky Lynch is about to pop out a baby. She is not going to get in the ring a month to 3 months later and wrestle. That shouldn't be the mindset that these fans have. But on the other hand, Ronda Rousey is someone that has taken a break from the WWE. She was on her impregnation vacation for a while there, and she really wanted kids, and that has not come about yet. So maybe she's rethinking about coming back to the WWE and starting her whole wrestling tenure again. How do you feel about that? I know you mentioned that you would love to see Ronda Rousey back.
I was such a big Ronda Rousey fan before she came into WWE. When it got announced that she was coming, I was over them. I was so excited. I can't even explain. I was so excited. Then she was there. I feel like she got a push maybe too soon. And it kind of ruined the momentum for me. I got a bit go away kind of thing. I know it sounds really mean, but I got to the point I was like, I've had enough now. I really had enough of this thing. But I've actually missed her quite a lot. Hopefully she'll be back for the Royal Rumble, and hopefully, I'm fingers crossed that, imagine if we could have Paul Heyman as her manager.
That would be really good.
Oh my God.
The thing with Ronda Rousey that really made me question her career in the WWE was how rough she was with everyone. And I think that really caused concern for a lot of fans because she is from an MMA background. They are significantly rougher than WWE, and the way she was throwing people around, I guess it was causing a lot of injury. There was a lot of injuries to different female superstars on the brands, and that really caused people to kind of side-eye Ronda because they were like, okay, you're coming from this MMA background, you have this physicality in you, but WWE is a whole different ballgame. You can't be as vicious with the women here and expect it to be fine. So I'm hoping now that she's had the time to train, and I don't know if she trained before she came to the WWE in specifically wrestling or not. Maybe she has this time now to really freshen up and strengthen her wrestling skills. Maybe she brings a whole new demeanor to the WWE that people will enjoy more than they did before when she was a little bit rugged. Finally, we have an update on WWE live events, which we know has been a very heavily talked about topic on Twitter. WWE had abandoned their live events, rightfully so, during the start of the pandemic. But according to Russell Votes, WWE is not planning on bringing back their normal live events loop until at least 2022, which would have been a Friday for SmackDown, a house show on Saturday and Sunday, and then Monday's Raw. And this has been talked about on Twitter for like the last week, and I've been taking a look at the different thoughts that people have had, and I kind of see it both ways. So a lot of people have mentioned that these live events are something that are magical. They're not like the events that are on TV like Raw or SmackDown, because they have a little bit more leniency on what they can do. You might see a superstar who is doing something in the ring that they might not do on Raw, or they might have that fan connection, tagging fans' hands, stuff like that. Obviously, you can't do that in this climate, but just as it was before. And then on the other side of things, it has been talked about for many years that WWE Superstars tour for 300 plus days a week. Superstars that are married, that are together, they mentioned that they only get 1 to 2 days together. And I think that WWE not incorporating these live events might be a good thing for these superstars to rest and recuperate properly. These superstars have mentioned for a very long time that they keep on working with injuries, and then finally at one point they have to just stop because they get injured too far. I think this could really help with that issue, not having these live events on the weekends or during the weekdays. It might help with keeping these superstars strong and able to compete. But at the same time, these fans really thrive off of these live events, being able to see their superstars in a capacity that it's not Monday Night Raw or it's not Friday Night SmackDown. I know you live in the UK. How do you feel about live events not coming back, or it's very unlikely for them to come back until 2022?
Do you know what? I think it's a shame. It is a shame, but obviously with everything that's going on, completely understandable.
Right.
And, I've watched obviously I watched Total Divas, and I've seen like how hard they work. I don't think, obviously I know a lot of people have these are, wrestling's not real, this kind of thing, but compared to any other sport or any other, kind of physical activity in the whole world, they're not working as much as these wrestlers are. Like, it's, they get time off, they get seasons. These wrestlers don't.
I even think about like John Cena. Do you remember when they used to talk about how busy he was? Like, he would never have a day off, and he would work year and year and year and year, and he would not have any time off because he would be doing TV, he would be doing radio, he would be doing movies, he would be in ring, he would be at house shows. That's how these superstars get worn out. And that worries me. Obviously, when you come back to this touring schedule, things might be a little bit back to normal if something is figured out with this pandemic. But you also think, how is WWE going to ensure the safety of their superstars and fans in 2022? Are they going to incorporate the things that they have right now with the little pods at the NXT events, or, the barriers from where the fans are to where the wrestlers are? What are you going to incorporate that will keep these weekly live events, if you continue touring, safe for everyone? That's what worries me. Like, let's not worry about when it's coming back. Let's worry about what safety precautions are going to be put in place to ensure that everyone arrives safely and leaves safely. Thank you, Jess, for joining me today on Wrestling Winedown. Where can the people find you on social media?
You can find me on YouTube at Just Jessy, or you can find me on Twitter at WatchesJess.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Wrestling Winedown. You can find all of our other episodes available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and wherever else you listen to your podcast. We're also on Twitter and Instagram at WWDCAST. Our new website is also coming soon. Let us know what you thought about the episode. What was your favorite part? We upload episodes with brand new co-hosts every week. Until next time, enjoy your wine and, of course, enjoy your wrestling. Cheers!